One Page Weekly with Nick Slavik. Anger. Data plus feelings. A third of all adults in the U.S. have difficulty controlling their anger. 45% of adults have lost their temper at work. Have you ever seen a social media post like this? Pay me for my experience, not my time. Or this one. If I do a job in 30 minutes, it's because I spent 10 years learning how to do it. You owe me for the years, not the minutes. I get the sentiment. What we do is hard. I've restored the exterior of a Victorian mansion with a carbide scraper and a 3-inch brush. I've swayed in the breeze atop a 60-foot ladder. I've been sunburned, heat stroke, exhausted, and depleted. My hands tell the story of my trade. In fact, tattoo needles even have a hard time piercing the calluses. And on some mornings, my knees and back tell those stories as well. I've stood in the driveway of a monstrous log cabin and knew that I would be sanding for a week. And not a regular week, one of those real weeks, the 75-hour kind. Jobs that are dirty, dangerous, and dull can create a sense of resentment in craftspeople. An industry friend of me turned to me in some West Coast airport a few years ago, winced his eyes slightly in contemplation, and said, "Painters are angry." Sort of a statement and sort of a question. You only need to look to any painter's Facebook forum for confirmation. Let me say this. I've been there. I've felt it. I've been called back to a 3-story, 7,200 square foot exterior repaint by a client only for them to tell me that they think they can feel the old color of the house coming through the new paint. I assured them that the old color is buried under the 2 coats of the finest, thickest exterior, 100% acrylic, professionally sprayed and backbrushed paint. They still felt it. The pulse of a master craftsperson rises in this exchange. They didn't see me at my shop at 4:45 a.m. loading those immense ladders. They didn't have the back of their legs burned by shingles 40 feet in the air on their roof. They didn't have to worry about if the dew was going to be on the south side in the early morning, or if it was going to burn off in time for me to paint it before the blinding heat hits it. They weren't with me at 7 p.m. when I was struggling to stay awake playing with my kids after leaving their project. They weren't with me when I paid $6,200 for the paint for their home. I didn't take a down payment. I have a 7-day pay policy, and they took 3 months to settle their bill. Standing in their front grass in this exchange, anything less than empathy and understanding in regards to their color feelings would be unforgivable in their eyes. So back to these posts. Those with calloused hands praise posts like this, and initially feels deserved, sometimes even righteous. But those sentiments never sat well with me. Put yourself in the place of a client. I want my toilet drain unclogged. The value of a project like that is $150. If you came to my house and told me that you, the plumber, owed me for 30 years of toil you experienced, I would think less of you. I don't know you, and I certainly don't owe you anything. I don't care if it takes you 30 minutes or 3 days. It's only worth $150 to me. If you're going to attach a personal hardship surcharge to this invoice, I'll find someone else who does not. And I'll never recommend you to anybody I care about. In fact, if asked, I'd tell people you're an angry old tradesperson. In the end, as entrepreneurs and craftspeople, we need to live with 2 very real and very true things. Number 1, it's okay to feel angry, especially when there are physical, mental, and spiritual burdens on us because of our vocation. Number 2, no one cares if you're angry. And in fact, it's a competitive disadvantage. Making peace, however you may, with these 2 realities will determine your path in this industry and through life. This has been One Page Weekly with Nick Slavik.